All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea, and it all starts with something super simple, believe it or not, just an observation about numbers. It's called the nothing in between principle, and I think it might honestly change how you think about connecting with people.
So, to really get our heads around this, let's start with a really simple math puzzle. Seriously, it's just a quick little observation, but trust me, it is the key that unlocks this entire idea.
All right, let's take two simple digits. How about a 2 and a 6? Now here's the question for you. What's the biggest number you can possibly make with just those two digits?
Now, most of us, our first instinct is to stick some kind of math operation in there, right? We could add them up. 2 plus 6, that gives us 8. Or hey, we could multiply them. 2 times 6 gets us 12. And yeah, those are perfectly fine answers. But what if we do something else? What happens if we put absolutely nothing in between them? Well, when you just place them right next to each other with nothing in the way, you get 26. And I mean, that's way bigger than 8 or 12, right? It seems like a simple little trick, but this is exactly where this whole idea starts to become a metaphor for something much, much bigger. So that simple observation, that's the entire basis for what our source material calls the nothing in between principle. And you've probably guessed by now, this isn't really about math at all. No, it's actually a pretty profound metaphor for our relationships with other people. The principle itself is actually really simple. It's just the idea that when you put two things, two entities side by side, the result you get can be way greater than what you'd produce if you stuck some kind of operation between them. You know, just like our 2 and our 6 becoming 26. Okay, so that's how it works with numbers. Pretty straightforward. But how on earth does this translate to the messy, complicated world of human interaction? What are the things that we're adding between ourselves and other people? So let's just remember, back in our math example, the things we put in between were the plus sign and the multiplication sign. Simple operations, right? But they were basically formulas that gave us a pretty limited result. And that brings us to the really crucial question here. If those are the operations in math, what are the human equivalents? What are the things we're constantly putting between ourselves and other people? Well, according to the source material, these are the human operations. In our relationships, we're always adding these barriers. Think about it. We bring in expectations for how other people are supposed to act. We come up with little strategies to get what we want. We're constantly making calculations about the right thing to say or do. We put on a performance instead of just being ourselves. And yeah, sometimes we even manipulate things. These are the things we're placing in between. So if adding all that stuff, the expectations, the strategies, if that's like getting the 8 or the 12, then what does it look like to find the 26 in our relationships? I mean, what does that more powerful, more authentic connection actually look and feel like? You know, I really want to pause for a second on this quote from the source because it captures the whole idea so perfectly. It says, when two people meet authentically, bringing their full selves without manipulation or performance, the combined value of the relationship can become far greater. Wow. I mean, that's really what it's all about, right? Just showing up as you are and letting the other person do the same. And that right there, that's the whole point. That is our 26. That authentic, unguarded connection, that's the human version of just putting the numbers side by side. It creates something totally new. Something with a value that's so much greater than just the sum of its parts. All right, so let's bring this all home. We started with a super simple math puzzle, and we've ended up with this really deep insight about human connection. So the final step, the really important one, is figuring out, okay, how do we actually apply this in our own lives? And this really brings us to the core takeaway. So often, we think that to make a connection stronger, we need to add stuff to it, right? More charm, a better strategy, say the perfect thing. But this whole principle, it suggests the complete opposite, that maybe the strongest connections aren't made by adding more, but by being brave enough to take things away, to just place nothing in between. And so, as we wrap this up, it really leaves us with a very direct kind of personal question. Think about your own life, with the people who really matter to you. Take a second and just ask yourself, what am I placing in between? What are those little barriers or strategies I'm using? And what might happen if I just didn't? It's definitely something to think about.